So friends, as I said, we are not able to have Dr. Robb with us physically in the building today, but what a treat. We can do it by video. We don't have the technology yet to do the live feed, but we thought that it would be wonderful to kind of hear what Dr. Robb is saying to the folks on our Woodlands campus. You know, this time of year, they have the State of the Church, where he has an opportunity to get in front of all of the worship venues on our Woodlands campus and kind of tell them what's been going on over the course of the year, and thought, wouldn't it be great if we could somehow share that with you and let him kind of talk to you while we're here together. So thanks for doing this for us.
Well, it's a pleasure. The first thing I'd like to say is congratulations. This has been such a thrilling year. And it's a year that you will always look back to, not just you, but I think everyone in the congregation as a special time. You know, it's that beginning. It's not something you repeat. You just begin once. And you form relationships during this year. Bev and I find that so many times we will remember, there's those times of sort of nostalgia of the first year at the Woodlands. That was back in 1978. We moved in January, the very first week. And I remember of course, we're Methodists, so we were signed by the bishop to come here. We had never heard of the Woodlands. Nobody else had. And we moved from Kentucky. I'd finished seminary, and we came down in our little U-Haul trailer. It was the same as this year. Quite a coincidence, really, that Christmas fell on a Sunday, and therefore New Year's Day fell on a Sunday. The district superintendent, Asbury Lennox, a godly, wonderful man, had said to me, wouldn't it be great to launch the church on Christmas Day? Well, I didn't know much. I was 27 years of age, but I did think, wow, seems to me, I don't want to compete with Santa Claus on the very first Sunday. I mean, you know, young families, and how do you get there? And so then he said, well, you know, how about the first Sunday in January? And wouldn't that be special to launch the beginning of a new year, 1978? And, you know, I was young and didn't know a lot, but I thought, I bet these people go out on New Year's Eve, and I bet they party.
Well, they're church people, surely not.
well, so I said, how about the next Sunday, which became January the 8th? Okay. So that was the first Sunday. Mm-hmm. And so we share, of course, we're one church, but different campuses. We share the same anniversary. So right. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to you, too.
And this is our 39th year. I guess we've completed 30 and going into the 40th.
I think that's
and
right.
So you've completed one full year.
That's right.
That first one's the most difficult.
So Dr. Robb, I have never launched a church, planted a church before. You know, you got to do this 39 years ago, as you just said. I think we're doing okay, but I mean, from your perspective, how are things rolling for us?
Oh my goodness. You're doing great. This church is doing so well. I knew that it would. I just knew that it would, and it just brings joy to my heart, really. I look at you and what's going over here at this congregation, and you all are doing it in such a good way. And the real point is to reach people, to touch lives, and you're making a difference. I mean, look at your attendance. You're having somewhere in the neighborhood plus or minus 350 on a Sunday. You're having a great year, and financially you're doing well. The people have been so generous out here. And that makes all the difference when you have generous people. And they understand that if you want to have any kind of impact on the community and make a difference in people's lives, not to mention that we're not in this just for ourselves. We want to reach out to people who are, you know, hurting and needy, that we need to be faithful in our stewardship. And the people here have been just that.
Well, 39 years ago, it probably went a lot like we did, because I don't know if I'm anything super special. I mean, I look back, I look at the history of our church and how it started, the way you've described it, to what it is today. You know, a fantastic pastor with a fantastic staff. Everything must have just gone your way.
No. Here's what I want. Well, I don't know if I want you to know this, so hold your ears, but I want these people to know. One reason this church is doing so well, I really mean this, is because God's grace, we have the right person here. And I'd like to say I just looked all over the country and found you. But really, I was introduced to you. Now, I'd met you years earlier, but getting the right person in place makes such a difference. And really, Brent, the ability to connect with people, be authentic and real, and yet have this genuine faith, people sense that. They understand it. And I just congratulate you. The vision that you all have here really sets you apart.
Yeah, we've been really blessed to land some great team members with Cam leading worship for us, and my assistant, our children's
Now, is
leaders.
he going to
and youth.
medical school?
He's graduated. He's got his pre-med degree from A&M, no woots, and just waiting for the word.
Normally, you are happy and congratulate someone. I don't
Right.
want him to go to medical school. What a great music team you've had here.
So tell me, Dr. Robb, the folks who are here on Sunday mornings,
Yes.
so many of them had been worshiping on the Woodlands campus before, but since January have been primarily out here and don't really know what's going on the Woodlands campus. Can you fill us in a little bit?
Well, we're in one church family, and we find ourselves in different worshiping communities. I like that personally. Not one size fits all. So we have traditional, and we have that in the chapel. And then we have the sanctuary in the Woodlands, and that's a traditional sort of blend. We have an orchestra, as you know. And then we have Harvest, and we have Loft, right. And now Woodforest. Right. And Harvest and Loft and Woodforest all are in some variety of contemporary. That means you're not wearing a robe.
Right, thank goodness.
Yeah. And the church as a whole, let me just say, is doing well. I'm happy to say that the church is healthy and it's vibrant and it's growing. Now I'm talking about the overall church. The people have been generous. Nobody has to give anything, but out of their goodness and their hearts and the response to God, people have given. So the church is doing well. Always there's more need, genuine need, than there are resources. But I think we'll be good. Going into 17, I'm optimistic. I think the economy is going to be a little stronger and a little more optimism. So it ought to be a good year.
I'm hearing that amongst some of our folks as well.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about what's ahead for this campus. You can't stay in the school forever. But this is a mighty good place. This is really a great facility to launch a church.
Every time I pull out of the parking lot at the front of the school and I look across the street and I see that sign, Future Home of, I just get excited. And I got to tell you, folks around here in this room are asking a lot of questions. When are we going to do it? When are we going to do it? And so it'll be fun to see how that unrolls this year.
Well, that's going to start. That train's leaving the station, and of course, it'll be a lot of congregational involvement. Right. You got to decide, what do you need most? How's that? You have limited acreage. You always have, no matter what. That's your footprint, about 13 acres. That's mighty good. Across from the school. Always some additional parking, so great location corner. But you're going to want to make sure, of course, that that's well planned, right. And it'll be fun for the entire church. And then what do you put down first? You guys have a lot of exciting decisions to make. But I can say this: as much as you've been growing already, once you get that building up, people will start coming out of the woods, right. Because there are a lot of people that really don't know you're here. And others, maybe they know you're here, but they just hadn't gotten they hadn't felt the call yet right. in the schoolhouse. There's something about having your own facility. So, and it takes a little bit of time. We got to raise money. That's the routine. And then you get plans, you raise money, and then you build. And all that together takes a little bit of time. But you are well poised.
Well, one of the things that these folks here probably don't realize is that the 7-day-a-week impact that we make to the Woodlands community, 10% of the Woodlands is about our membership number at the Woodlands overall. It's amazing once we become a 7-day-a-week kind of a place. Right now we're 1 day a week. We don't have as much impact. But you're right, I'm excited about every day people driving by, coming in the building, interacting, meeting other moms and dads. It's going to be really special.
And there's so much similarity I see from Woodforest and Woodlands in terms of it's a planned community, and you're in that early stages. 10 years from now, Woodforest, it'll just keep thriving and growing, and they're doing it in such a fine way out here.
It's been really great having you a part of our worship service this morning. I know that on the Woodlands campus this morning, folks are just as excited about what you're saying there to them as what we're getting to hear you say today. I just want to make sure you hear this. You did some bragging early on in this interview, but it's important for me to let you know that I have been the most blessed pastor in this conference. There are pastors all over this area who would love to be doing what I'm doing, and I get to do it. I wake up every morning giddy about the opportunity to do ministry in this way. So I just want to thank you for the vision that you had.
I would love to be doing what you're doing. I think this is the most fun time that you'll have in your entire ministry, and I want all of you just to enjoy it and savor it. The relationships that are being formed, and you'll be the bond. And you're bringing forth something out of nothing, in a sense, a brand new, church that will be here. It really will, 40 and 50 and 75 years from now. And that you all have helped start that, to give it birth. So that's a joyful time. I thank you for inviting me to be a part of this. I just could not be more happy for you, for the congregation. And I want everyone to know that we're in this all together for the kingdom.